So I always struggled with it. And now I've like actually put in the work to where now when I walk around the gym, I'm like, oh, I'm not like a little guy. Like I got a little meat to me. Gr- All right. Great.
But he came in and he's like, guys, somehow I I figured out how to turn my day around today.
There was like 18 comedians. I was second to last. It was a long time of me just waiting. There were two guys that showed up to the comedy club and they were hammered. I mean, absolutely trashed.
And others are like, look with like 10 million subscribers or
Yeah.
whatever. They're like, you guys are chump, man. Like you guys are nothing.
Yeah.
But
We
that's
have subscribers with more subscribers than us. It's time for me to update you on what's been happening.
here we go.
So, I have talked a lot on the podcast about stand up and how it's kind of like a passion of mine and whatnot,
Yeah, yeah.
and how it's something I'd always wanted to pursue. And I talked a lot about it, but then I never really like pursued it. I had done it a few times, maybe 3 to 4 times, and Highland did get to see footage of me doing it, and it was rough.
It's forever burned into my psyche, and it's not a super pleasant
Yeah,
memory.
and it's not even that I like bombed. It's just that I was so uncomfortable. It was so unlike me. It's a lot like when we watched the video of me from when I was in Chicago. Like that's not Rowan. Like that's not it's not the good version of him.
Like I don't necessarily know what it means to not bomb, but I that was I don't know what that would
There
be
was no
what
laughter.
that would be called, but that well, there wasn't. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to rip apart that video, but it was
You're not gonna offend me.
it was tough to watch, man.
Yeah. So I had done it. That video was when I was in Chicago, so this is like 4 or 5 years ago now. The last time I did stand up was about 2, 3 years ago. I had come to Peoria after leaving Chicago and I was about to move to Minnesota. And I went to the Jukebox Comedy Club, which is the one in town, and I did an open mic. And it went okay. It didn't go great, but I never did it again. When I was in Minnesota, I didn't do it at all. And since we've been doing the podcast, I haven't gone up.
Mm,
I've talked about going up, but I haven't gone up.
okay.
Things have changed, people. I've gone up twice now. And let me tell you. So I'm going to talk about the first time. So it's been 2 weeks straight of me going up, and I'm going to continue to do it. So this upcoming week, I'll be going up on Wednesday. So I started to take off work on Wednesday nights because I'm like, you know what? Like, yes, I'm in Peoria for now, but like I should start if I really do want to do something like comedy and like see if it's an actual potential career. I gotta start like bridging the gap. Like I gotta start doing something. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do stand up. So I started taking work off. I went and I went into it and I was like, you know what? I was actually like, my mentality had changed completely. So the first few times I did, I was so anxious and nervous. Like, holy crap, I'm gonna go do stand up. Like, this is so anxiety inducing and whatnot. But I went and I was like, I'm just excited to see what happens. And my mentality was like, okay, go up on stage and treat it like you're sitting at the dinner table with your family and like look people in the eyes and just talk to them
Yeah,
about the things, much like I do on the podcast that I think are funny.
yeah.
And so I got up on stage and I didn't even write anything down. I just improvised it.
That's amazing.
And I had an idea of what I was going to say because of a lot of the things that have been happening recently in life that I thought were funny to share.
Yeah.
And so I got up there and I like kind of killed. Like I didn't like crush, but like I was getting a lot of laughs to the point like it was making me like feel the dopamine hit. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And so when I got done, I got off stage and like a bunch of people were like, hey man, great set. And the thing is that the host of the open mic said it was my first time ever doing stand up. I didn't correct him because I was like, it doesn't matter. Like it's been 3 years. I haven't been doing it actively. And so a bunch of people came up to me and were like, hey man, like your great first set. Like that was amazing. Oh, thank you. And a guy who'd been doing it for comedy for 9 years, like this one was like, dude, great job. And I was like, oh. So it was a lot of validation in that moment.
Wow.
So then the open mic ends and I go out and I'm kind of like in like the main kind of like bar area. And like a bunch of people started coming up to me there, just kept congratulating me, telling me I did a great job. And it was so like affirming. And I was riding that high, and it just gave me this like huge sense of confidence that I have been kind of like, I felt like at home. I was like, ooh, okay. So I had that first experience, which was fantastic. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go again for a second time. Now, to be honest, Island's already heard about the first story, but you haven't heard about the second time. So the second time happened this last week, and I was a little bit more nervous, but still excited. Goes like, well, I had such a good time last time.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's still going to be the same, or like, am I going to bomb this time? Like, is it not going to be funny? Or like, should I do the same joke? Should I do new material? I was just thinking a lot about stuff. And did something very similar. Like, I wrote down points that I had been talking about or like thinking about, and it was about like dating. That was kind of like my 5 minutes was like about dating and whatnot. So I was like, okay, I have an idea or an order of operations of what material I'm going to do, but I don't have like jokes pre-written.
Mm.
I just have concepts. And so I got up on stage. Well, first of all, there was like 18 comedians. I was second to last. It was a long time of me just waiting. There were two guys that showed up to the comedy club, and they were hammered. I mean, absolutely trashed. And that's the thing about Peoria is you really do get to see some of like the worst behavior, especially at the Jukebox Comedy Club.
Mm.
And so these guys were actually like heckling people. Like they were talking and during people's sets, like loud enough, or like trying to communicate with them. And it's like, it's an open mic, dude. Like you sit there. If it's funny, you laugh. If not, you don't say anything. You just be quiet. And they were so drunk that they didn't understand like they should not talk.
Mm.
And so a bunch of comedians like had tried addressing it and like basically trying to use humor to like de-escalate the situation, but it just kind of got worse because they got so drunk that they started to get angry drunk. Well, one of the guys was pissed, and the other guy was like, "Just enjoy the moment, man. We're living." And you're like, I just kept looking over, being like, "Jesus, guys!" And I was thinking in my head, I'm like, "What should I do? Is my tactic like, should I address it? Should I try and make a joke out of it? Should I try and de-escalate it, or should I pretend like they don't exist?" So I started to get like real nervous because like these guys are like ruining it for other people.
Well, those are the only two besides the comics in the
I mean, there
area?
was like maybe 5 or 6 other people that were just there to watch,
Okay.
but those 2 guys were not comics. I think they were friends of one of the comics, but they were just absolutely hammered.
Okay.
And so, and this is a Wednesday night, by the way.
So they were kind of dominating the whole scene.
Oh yeah, they like at one point he actively booed. He booed out loud. I was like, "You're booing? Like, come on."
Yeah. Like
So
just people
just
being
not,
brave
and
enough to stand up.
it's so hard for some people. Like when you're in the middle of a joke and someone interrupts it, you lose your train of thought because it
Oh,
kind of like
man.
sucks you out of it, right?
I can't even
Like I saw
imagine.
one of the comedians that goes up regularly, and he like was kind of like having a hard time, and he like tried to address him, but he kind of got like angry with him. He's like, he like dropped his cool and was like, "Shut up."
Mm.
He said, some swear words, but he got all angry and whatnot. So I was like, "Oh crap, what is happening? Like, what am I gonna do when I go up? Like, I'm so inexperienced. Like, this is my second time." So I eventually get up
Oh,
and I'm doing
man.
all new materials. I'm like, I don't know if this is good. Like, we'll see what happens.
This is making me nervous just listening.
They were laughing at my jokes. Like they were dying. The drunk people were dying laughing at my jokes so that like it de-escalated the situation. So then like my set, I did really great again. And I did a whole 5 minutes this time. Because the first time I went up, I might have done like 3.5, maybe 4. I got off before I saw the light. Cause I was like, I don't want to go over. But this time I like got to the light, which lets you know, like, hey, you're at 4 minutes. Then I left with like one last joke. But like I did new material, which was great. So I got to see if that stuff was funny. And some of it did really well, which was great.
Okay.
And then I used some of the old material from last week, and that also did really well again. So I'm kind of like I'm like crafting my
Yeah.
craft, if you will. That makes no sense. But it went great again. It was another like super stellar night. People told me I had a great set, that I have great material. And then afterwards, I like stood outside with everyone, and we just kind of like hung out for like an hour and a half after the show. And like I got to kind of like meet people, like other comics, and like chat with them. And like one of them invited me to go to a show this weekend and all that stuff. But like tickets were sold out and all those things. So it was just kind of like cool. I was like, oh, all right. Like I'm making like a new group of friends, and like they're accepting me into the, culture of being a stand-up. So
Oh,
I'm
man.
ecstatic.
Yeah. That makes that makes I support that so much. I think that's an excellent path. I think I don't know how people go up on a stage and do that, but to me, that's amazing. And like the people that are really good at it, I just I don't even understand how they do the things that they do, but the value that they bring, like the ability to make people laugh,
Oh,
I think is golden.
yeah.
Right? I mean, if you even in the things that I do, even in like really stressful situations, if I can somehow bring a little bit of humor, it alleviates a lot of situations
Yeah.
and it makes things much more tolerable. So no, man, I give you huge amounts of
Yeah.
props and huge amounts of like cheerleading and support. And I hope that you chase that dream with as much gusto as possible
Yeah.
for sure.
And we're gonna get back to comedy. We feel a little weird right now. We haven't addressed the situation.
No,
We got a new setup.
I was
Hyland's got a
thinking,
weird, nervous energy over here that I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, we're in a different setup. All right.
well, I was wondering because I was like, should we talk about this before we get into the whole episode? But
Yeah, I kind of botched that one, but we'll get back to comedy. Don't worry. But let's address things are different.
oh man,
Things look a little bit different right now. So there used to be a one of my childhood bunk beds right here. I dismantled it to create more space. Set up the cameras a little bit different. Hopefully we like it. I don't know. Now you're getting torso. Before there was a table here. There's nowhere for Lance to sit unless Lance wants to sit right here. But I don't even know where he's at right now. He's somewhere
yeah,
causing a ruckus. But yeah, things are a little bit different. We're trying some things.
no, hugely different. And
Yeah.
I think I hope that there's a little bit of grace as always in when we take
Yeah.
these new steps for sure. But no, I like it. There is like a different energy though because it's I was you just started into the whole episode and I was just like shouldn't like I think that this is going to look very different for people and shouldn't we address it? But I hope that this is a step forward and I think that there's kind of ideas in progress
Yeah.
that there's going to be
Well, for
improvements
instance,
down
we're
the road.
sitting in like super creaky old construction chairs. We're hoping to get some like actual like nice like kind of like section not sectionals chairs of some sort lounge chairs. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah. Something comfortable.
Fancy chairs that we can sit in and
Yeah.
possibly swivel. Which
Oh
I'm looking
man,
for
that would be the
swiveling.
best.
But yeah, we this is like so Highland came in last night and whatnot, and so this is gonna be like a quick weekend, just to like get some stuff because I still have work tonight and all those things. Usually I would call off, but long story. So we were like, okay, I set this up. Let's see how we like it and whatnot, but we still want to add new elements. Like for instance, there's a lot of just wall here. We want to put some things on the wall.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna have like some decorations and make it look nice. But yeah, we're just trying out these new camera angles. So let us know if you prefer the other camera angle, or if you like seeing a little bit more of it. It's a little bit farther away. We're just trying new things. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're trying to see how it works.
Yeah. And I mean, I will say this though, a totally different angle.
Yeah.
But you told me that two people had commented and very, very different comments.
Mhm.
But I will say this. Only two comments, but at the same time, like it totally rocked my world. So like if you do have a chance just to write in and say like, hey, I hate it, I love it, do this, do that, whatever, it makes a really big difference. But just realize the comments are read and kind of thought about and
Oh
talked
yeah.
about. And then two, they really do make quite a bit of difference because I loved them. Like when I heard them last night, it just made me laugh. So
Yeah. So, all right. So now we've addressed the weird kind of new vibe. Back to comedy.
okay, got it. I'm on it now.
So overall, doing stand up has had this like huge like cascading effect that has been really cool that I've seen like in my daily life. Like I feel so much more comfortable in my skin and like that confidence I've been kind of like searching for has like found like a new level. I
Mm,
thought I'd get there with like lifting and whatnot, which I'm still doing, getting big. But now with pursuing something that I'm actually super passionate about and is actively like giving back like a positive reward has been so beneficial to like my mental health, how I feel about myself, how I feel about like the work I'm doing, and just like a sense of direction. Like and now I feel like I have something that like I actually want to work towards. Whereas the past few times we've come here, I'm like, I might do this thing, I might do that. I don't know. I've been very kind of like taking it day by day. And now I have like a path that I'm like, oh crap, like there is a reality to it. It's not just, this fantasy of mine.
Well, this leads me to something that I wanted to talk about this whole weekend. And I like you can take this episode wherever you want, but I have been because this week, like Rowan and I are coming into this weekend, coming from two different ends of the
Yeah.
spectrum. Like I had a really, really rough week, and I've been just struggling with like taxes and money and things like this, and just a lot of stress and work and future plans and just things like this. And so I'm coming in here just like, what the heck? But like this question, and I think it plays in really, really nicely. But this is something that I've been thinking a lot about because in many ways, I like this year I've made more money than I've ever made before. And like I've put myself in situations that to me are like, what the heck? Like, how did I reach this? Like
Yeah.
I'm like my position, I think I could not have created a better position than I have right now. And it's just kind of begged the question. And this week was still really, really tough.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about this question, and it's pretty simple, but I think it's really profound and it's really been messing with me. And I think it ties in nicely to what you're experiencing right now.
Okay.
And it's simply, what is success?
Mm.
And I think it's something that I have never, I mean, of course, like I've thought about it, right? Like, oh, if you make $1 million, if you buy
Yeah.
this house, if you live, like, if you have this car, if you live in this city, da, 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 whatever, like, I think all that's nonsense. But I have come to a conclusion this week that's very, very different than anything that I came to before. And I'm just wondering, you coming off of
Yeah.
the weeks actually
Yeah.
that you have had, do you have a response to that? And like, do you have an actual answer?
I have like a form of an answer that's it's just kind of like a different perspective. I've started to treat success as something that only you can feel. No one else can tell you that you are successful. So it's like so like the things that like like if an outside source looked at my life, they might be like, you're not successful. And that's completely their opinion. But like what has started to happen, like the going to stand up and like having the like fun that I've had in these past 2 weeks and just like the feelings have made me feel successful in my life because it is inherently like my life. So like success is to me, it's completely based on like how you feel about what you're doing and your own perspective. If someone else says you're not successful, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. They might be jealous. They might just be mean. Who knows?
You totally, totally stole my answer. I thought that I had like the most
You're like, I'm gonna
revolutionary,
blow
like,
your mind.
oh man. And you just said feeling, and I was just like, oh, that was what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's so important. And it had like to me, it's revolutionized my life a little bit
Yeah.
because I've realized it's not about X amount of money. It's not about comparing yourself to, because a lot of my friends are very wealthy, like doctors
Yeah.
and engineers and things like that, and they make a ton of money and stuff. And if I compare myself to my friends, like as far as cars, money, houses, whatever, it's never going to happen, right?
Right.
But I've gotten to the point where, like, if I can feel successful, that's that's the importance. That's where the magic
Yeah.
happens. That's where you get to the point where you're like, yeah, that's what success is. It has nothing to do with the material things. And this has been revolutionary to me because for me in my work, one of the things that is driving me crazy right now is we have MCA testing coming up. And that's just like standardized testing for the
Yeah.
kids. and I'm sitting there and I'm dreading this time because these kids just go off the rails for a
Yeah.
lot of the kids that I work with. And I'm thinking about it, and it's like, of course they're gonna go off the rails because those tests are set up to basically feel like you're not successful,
Mm.
right? Like you're not at the reading standard. You can't do math at a fifth grade level or
Mhm.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? And so it's totally taking the and for me, uh, for a lot of these kids, just showing up is huge success,
Yeah.
right? But they don't get to feel it
Mhm.
because they go into their classes and they deal with their teachers and they melt down or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're totally they're said, oh, this, you didn't do this, whatever. But like I have learned, and this is like been so important in dealing with those kids, is just give them the feeling of being successful in some
Yeah.
way. Like for example, like at the end of the day, I get to go out and play football with one of my favorite kids, and we just throw the ball around, and like each catch, and just like, buddy, like what an amazing catch, and it's just a very simple thing,
Yeah.
but he gets to feel like in
A
that moment
success.
I'm successful,
Yeah.
right? And that's huge, and to me that's been revolutionary.
Yeah.
So it's like for you, like in the pursuit of this comedy, like I think, and even in the pursuit of the podcast, everything, like I think a lot of people will look at us and just be like, "What the heck, you guys? You guys are like so non-successful."
Yeah.
But I feel like we both feel super
I have
successful.
felt fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like I've had two like separate instances that like two separate groups where I can see my own personal success. So, like one with the stand up, which has been awesome and like very new and like exciting. Then also with like lifting. Like I've been this is the most disciplined I've ever been with lifting. And I've always struggled with it throughout like my childhood. I always wanted to be really strong and just always felt like the little guy. Like I'm a very kind of like jokey, like, I got picked on in middle school and
Well, a
all that
little for
stuff.
6'2".
Yeah, for 6'2". Yeah. Let
Yeah.
me just clarify. Thank you for that. But so I always struggled with it, and now I've like actually put in the work to where now when I walk around the gym, I'm like, oh, I'm not like a little guy. Like I got a little meat to me. Gr- All right, great.
Oh,
My bad.
is
Uh,
that do we edit that out or we
no,
keep
no,
that in?
it's keep it in.
That's comedic gold right
But
there.
what I'll say is that there are a lot of guys in the gym that are like extremely strong and have been working out for like maybe 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
And they're like just jacked,
Yeah.
huge guys. And in the beginning, like when I was working out in like college and all that stuff and like struggling to get into the gym, I would look at those people and be like, I'm so far behind.
Yeah.
I'm having no success. Like I work out and I'm not anywhere near them. And now when I go into the gym, like I see those guys and it's like humbling. It's like, wow, they put in like a lot of work. Good for them. And then I go straight back to be like, all right, what am I doing today? And like every day I work out or like I do a movement and I feel like a little bit sore, or like I look in the mirror and I see a little bit more muscle definition or whatnot. Like right now I'm cutting. And so like I go and do the in body, which tells me like my body fat percentage and whatnot.
Mm.
I've gone from 22% to 19%.
Oh,
And so like I'm seeing like progress and I'm keeping my weight at the same, like I weigh like 167 and stuff, which is cool. So it's like I'm actively seeing success happen
nice.
and it's all my own success and I'm not comparing it to others
Yeah.
in the past. And this might have like a trickle down effect from social media, always like being like, thinking I should post like myself lifting or something and then compare it to someone else and like the amount of views they get or the likes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and not having that as like even a part of my life. I can truly just be focused on myself. But that's also been like a big journey for me, all of last year, like my New Year's resolution was becoming confident and it was very kind of like selfish in a way. Like I needed to do a lot of work on myself to be like, all right, Rowan, we got to build you up. And so now I've kind of built myself up to this point, and now I can just start to be like, all right, now let me just invest in the things I'm interested in that make me feel like fulfilled and like in a way successful.
Yeah.
So I'm going to switch this over real quick.
Yeah. I think ultimately that, like that, I think it's something so simple, And I'm shocked actually that it took me this long. Like I have not thought that way before. Like I didn't
What
um
made you come to this kind of realization?
well the feel the working with the kids. And I just the other day one of my friends who's a teacher, she let me know that they took a test and her kids only scored 70%, and she felt like a failure and some of the kids felt like a failure
Oh,
and da da
dang.
da and it just started to, because I know how hard this person works and I know that she is an incredible teacher
Yeah.
and I know that she is creating successes in those classrooms, and I know that whether or not these kids can do a test on this given day
Mm-hmm.
has nothing to do with whether they're successful within this year or later or in their lives in a general sense. And it just, that whole experience and then dealing with my own kids and not like seeing how upset they would get about like not being able to complete an assignment
Yeah.
or not doing well on a test or like not being like in a classroom for um, this period or whatever it is, and just realizing that we these kids in the day throughout their day just never, like a lot of them were not given a lot of opportunities to to feel a success, to
Yeah.
feel that they were actually doing a good job, that that they were on task and that they were succeeding and that they were being successful. And then one of my colleagues and I, who we've been working really closely with, um, have just had a lot of conversations and just kind of broken it down and said, okay, like if they're here and they have a meltdown or whatever, then what do we need to do to get them back on track and get them like back into the classroom and back on focus and
Mm-hmm.
stuff? Because a lot of times once these kids go off the rails, it's really hard
Yeah.
to get them back on
That's right.
track throughout the day. And we have been able to do that simply by refocusing and giving them a chance to be like, okay, this was didn't go as well,
Yeah.
but let's do this, and then give them a chance to like feel success and refocus and feel that
Yeah.
sense of I can do this, and then give them a chance to kind of be like, okay. And one kid actually, I mean, both my colleague and I were like, what the heck, this was so awesome. But he came in and he's like, guys, somehow I I figured out how to turn my day around today. And it was like the first time ever. And he was so proud of himself.
Wow.
And my colleague and I, we both kind of looked at each other and like eventually he walked out and we both like, we were like, that almost made me cry. Like that was the most amazing moment.
Yeah.
Because this kid just like he has a really tough time and
Oh.
but he was just so proud of himself. He's like,
Nice.
guys, somehow I figured out how to turn my day around. And this is a little third grader, right? Like
Wow.
he has that sense of like I can't do this
Mm-hmm.
already
Yeah.
so ingrained.
Yeah.
And he was so shocked and so proud of himself. Like the amount of pride that he had and like wonder. He's
Yeah.
like, how did that happen? Like how did I do that? And but it was magical, man.
Yeah.
And it just that that really kind of instilled in me like
Yeah.
he felt that. He was so proud, and it wasn't a huge thing. He wasn't making millions of dollars. He wasn't driving around a
Yeah.
Lamborghini or whatever. It was just simply like I freaking
Yeah.
turned my day around.
Well, so I don't want to blanket statement it for everyone, but I'll say this for myself. So I think part of how I feel about success is progress. Like I think that's it. Like everything that I'm trying to do, like if I'm progressing in a positive direction, that's what feels successful to me.
Oh,
So like for instance, I started doing comedy and it's not that I'm the funniest guy up there, but I am doing something that I really want to try and do and pursue, and I'm feeling like I'm getting better at it. I feel like I'm progressing forward. Even if I do have a time where eventually I'm going to bomb. there's no way I'm gonna have a career and never ever do bad. That's ridiculous. And when that happens, like it'll be like, okay, but like how can we progress? Like how can we get better? Like you bombed, like how can you move forward? Same thing with lifting. Like I've gotten stronger, the weights have gone up. I've been progressing forward in my lifts, but then I have days where like I feel weak or like I'm not really into it or like I take a rest day and then like, I struggle a little bit or I go down a weight, but I'm still like actively progressing forward.
Okay.
So
That adds a whole another
so
element.
that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't want to say that as a blanket statement for everyone, but like that's a big part of what I've just kind of like I don't know, like I always success was this idea that was kind of like you reached a point and then you're successful. And I think even
Yeah.
if I became super, super strong, super ripped, I can't be like, okay, I've done it. I am a successful person. I feel like it's an active continuation of something, right? Like living, like progressing forward.
Well, I think there's three words then that we can kind of like in this conversation. And I mean, I don't want to end it or anything, but like I think a feeling,
Hmm.
a feeling is really important.
Yep.
And then progress, I think, is another concept that I haven't really thought about, but I think that's really brilliant, and I think that's really helpful for people because, um,
Well, what made me think of it is, sorry to interrupt you. I'm pulling a Hylan. But what made me think of it is like you were talking about the situation with the kids, like they got a 70 and they didn't actually like do as well as maybe they wanted to.
mm,
But what did they get on their last year of the test or whatever? Like if they are comparing it to everyone else, like, oh, Mikey got 100, but I got a 70. But if it's like last time you took the test, you got a 60
yeah.
and you went up 10%, that's a success. That's progress.
Well,
That's what made
even
me think of it.
okay, no, no, I absolutely agree with that 100%. But I also think just the fact, like the my friend was like they tried super hard, and it's like absolutely that's success,
No.
right? If you're willing to put yourself out there, if you're willing to go up there and
Yeah.
bomb, knowing that you're going to go up there and one day
Yeah,
it's not going to go
that is
well,
true.
if you put yourself out there and take that risk and be like, hey, let's do this, and those kids, I can just like being in a primary school, like those kids are so freaking cute, man.
Yep.
They're just adorable, and I can just see them at their little desks, like just scratching their heads and like have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try like heck. Like, yeah, good on you. Like
Yeah.
you, that's a huge success. So I think for me, like those two, like progress and then
Showing up.
a feeling. Well, also it's a process.
Yeah.
It's never ending,
Yeah.
right? I think that's a really important aspect as well. It's like I think if we in society today, especially in American society, we think, oh, if I get to $1 million, if I have this much money in the
Yeah.
bank, whatever, then
I am
I can
complete.
kick back and relax, and I don't have to pursue anything
Yeah.
anymore, whatever. I can just enjoy it,
Yeah.
and I think that's a falsehood too. But yeah, I think that I mean this is a conversation I wish that I had a little more time to think about because I think there's a lot more to
Yeah.
kind of
Well, I
um,
think it's also something that's like very fresh in my mind. Like for a while, as the podcast listeners, if you've been here since the beginning, know I haven't felt as successful as a person through a lot of my endeavors. Like when I had to move home or when I got fired, we both got fired.
yeah.
Like not a lot of things where we felt successful, but I have just now started to get into a place where like I'm feeling good about what I'm doing and confident in it too. Like if someone said something, it wouldn't deter me. If anything, I'd kind of be like, ah, that's your opinion, man.
Well, can I bring this up as well? And I think this is really very personal to me, and I think maybe you might agree, but I think the listeners or the viewers might, some of them might just laugh, whatever. But like speaking of success, like in this way, I have felt huge success.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of subscribers that we
Yeah.
have now
Yeah.
is at 750 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm just like, whoa, what the heck? Like, that's so much success. And others are like, look with like 10 million subscribers,
Yeah.
whatever. They're like, you guys are chump, man. Like, you guys are nothing.
Yeah.
But, you know,
We
that's.
have subscribers with more subscribers than us.
But I mean, it's just so funny because that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is, it absolutely is progress and process and
And
a feeling.
we're not comparing it to other podcasts and whatnot, being like, well, this one has 10 million. We have nothing. It's like, no, dude, like like for a while, for maybe like a year, we had like 28.
Yeah.
And now
And that
we're
was
at
all friends.
750. So it's like
Yeah.
that is progress. That's success to me and
Yeah.
to you.
And it's just it's so important, like the way you look at it too. I mean, it's like if you do compare yourself to others, good luck with that, right? It's
Yeah.
going to be a really difficult
And
kind of.
you're gonna lose that battle every single time.
Yeah, there's always going to be somebody out there
Yeah.
that's bigger, better, badder, whatever.
Well, and like that's what's been really nice for like the comedy and the lifting is like that's why I say it's like it's humbling because like I'll feel big, at home. I'll be looking in the mirror like, ooh, like I'm a big guy. And then I go to the gym and I'm like, Rowan, you are not big. Like
Yeah.
that guy is moving some weight.
Yeah,
Same thing with comedy. Like I go there and like the comedian that had been doing it for 9 years, my first night, he went up. He had an amazing set. I was like, oh man, like yeah, he's like a veteran. He's been doing this for a while. Like he's got a confidence to him.
yeah,
And then instead of me being like, okay, I want to do better than him, I was like, no, I don't want to do better than him. I just want to do well. Like I just want to go up and do well for me
yeah,
instead of making it a comparison, which is something I used to do so much and even unconsciously. And I don't know what necessarily like made me flip the switch of just like stopping that. I don't know.
Well, I think two things that I just want to mention, just as far as like caring about people, is one, I think that the world is kind of set up to make us compare ourselves now, right? I mean, we've had so many conversations about that, but just be conscientious of that fact. And then two, just be like spend some time and focus on yourself,
Yeah.
right? Like that's like if you do want to improve mental health, if you do want to feel better about yourself, spend some time and actually like think about yourself, work on yourself, like do things for yourself, not with the lens of looking at others, but
Yeah.
with the lens of, hey, am I improving? Am I progressing? Do I have a feeling of success?
Yeah.
Am I like in the process of becoming a better person, whatever it is? And then I think you will begin to experience some huge steps forward.
And it's just huge at how much of an impact it has on like other facets of your life, right? Like for instance, like I did the comedy, which was great, it was a success, but like even it has had this ripple effect into just like how I carry myself through the day, the interactions I'm having with people. Like it's crazy how just like focusing on yourself. And like one thing I want to mention, like so a big thing about this podcast is like we've been recording for like a year and a half now. The Rowan that was at the beginning of this podcast was like a deeply heartbroken, hurt guy. I feel so much better now. And a lot of it has been due to like focusing on myself.
Mm.
So like it does work, but you want to do it for like the right reasons. Same thing with like
And in the right way.
and in the right way, right? You want to make sure it's positive, it's reinforcing, it's helping you. It's not, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. For instance, like a lot of people get into lifting because they think like, oh, if I get a 6-pack abs, someone will love me.
Yeah.
I don't,
Ooh, yeah.
I don't think that. I'm working out because I am like, hey, Rowan, I want to see you look bigger. That's it. Because I've always wanted to, like just be like, hey, I did that shit.
Yeah.
And it's been very helpful for me. Now, your thing might not be lifting or comedy. It might be, sewing or knitting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something fun. That's what it is for my mom.
Well, and just one
And
one
baking.
other thing for me too. Yeah, whatever it is, right? If you, yeah, I mean, art, tennis,
No.
whatever it might be, right? Pickleball, whatever.
It can't be pickleball.
Yeah, I was trying to just, I don't know what I was trying to do there. I was trying to like reconcile my own.
Yeah, you're dealing with some unresolved issues.
Yeah. Didn't go well. It didn't go well. But I will say, this was interesting to me too. I guess I've had a lot of revelations, but when you told me about the first time that you went up and like your success made me feel good,
Nice.
like made me feel successful. Like I don't know if this is fair or not, but I feel like your success on the comedic stage, I was like, oh, I helped. Like
No,
I
yeah.
I was a process in that, and I think that's another thing too. Like we can share success. Maybe
Oh,
there's a
absolutely.
there's a lot of things going on
Yeah.
here.
Well, like that's one thing. Like that, comedy is such like a integral part of who I am as a person, just like as a core value. Like it's been talked about at exhaustion on the podcast, and me having shared that with you, you can kind of understand like how important it
Oh
is to
yeah,
me,
yeah,
right? And so me being able to share with you an experience of having success, much like the kids that you have at school, like the one that said that, he found out how to turn his like day around.
yeah,
You feel successful, even though like it has nothing to do with you. Like he figured it out, but you were just like, oh, I know much this is how important this is to this person.
yeah.
And so it makes sense. And I think that's an important part of sharing. But don't be like cocky. Don't be an ass about it and be like, "Psh, I'm the best, and like share when people don't ask. Um, but that's something that I have dealt with in
Well,
the
I
past.
don't think it's that necessarily. I think like in the way that I'm thinking about it now,
Hmm.
it's very personal, right?
Yeah.
It is very much in your own way of how you process, how you think about things and your own feelings. But I'm just saying the more success you experience in your own life, it will radiate
Yeah.
outwards. It
That's fair.
will affect your sphere of influence. It
Yeah.
will affect your ability to deal with other people and
I will say the people in my sphere of influence that I've told have been really excited and happy for me.
yeah.
Outside of my sphere of influence, if I tell someone I know, like, oh, they're not going to have the same reaction. They're not going to be as excited about it. Not that it diminishes it at all. And I'm not
Yeah.
necessarily telling those people, but like I recognize because in the past I would try and validate what I was doing by telling everyone. I'm like, what
Mm.
reaction is everyone giving? And it's like, pretty much the most important reaction is one, how you feel about yourself, and two, like the people that really care about you are part of that sphere of influence, how they kind of react. And even sometimes, like, someone might be like, oh, I could never do that. And they might be in your sphere of influence. It's like, okay, bad opinion, gone, so let it bounce off you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gang, I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we're going to title it, something about success, but we appreciate you watching and listening. The book is available in the podcast description. For now, we might be changing things. We might be doing a little giveaway and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. I will let you guys know. But yeah, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up, or subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend. That'd be cool. That way we can, maybe engage more people. We do have an email where you can always email us at NopeOpePod@gmail.com. We read those. We read the comments. And yeah, let's chat.
Yeah. Emails or comments.
And
I'm
whatever.
really enjoying the comments.
However you feel. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The comments on YouTube.
Yeah.
I guess
Spotify doesn't really have any comments
email
or whatever. So
for Spotify.
yeah. Spotify, we don't get as many listeners. But
But
to
I
those
really-
Spotify listeners, we still love you. Thank you for sticking with us. But yeah, the YouTube stuff is it's pretty great.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. It just makes me laugh every single time. Like I look at the number and I'm just like blown away, man. I'm just like, wow, what the heck? And then I just put it in perspective and I'm like, but it doesn't diminish any of it. Like the
Yeah.
excitement is still just like,
It's still there.
wow, what the heck? Because I literally thought, I mean, this is no joke, and Rowan can attest to this. I thought like if there were 3 people that watched us on YouTube, one, I would question why those people are watching us on YouTube. And then
You didn't mean to click on this video.
yeah, like did you make a mistake or what? But yeah, I did not think this would ever happen. And then the fact that it's kind of expanding at the rate that it is. And I think I do want to say that I think that people are tuning in because there is value here. And
Yeah.
I do like I've gotten to the point where I actually feel like this is valuable. This is good. Like there is no more shame when I
Yeah.
say, yeah, I actually do a podcast. Like I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah.
And so
And you know what? It took progress to get here.
oh my God. It was a process.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, absolutely.
All righty, gang. Well, we'll see you in the next one.